Hello there, everybody. It's HorrorDeconstruction in October with your host, komp, and
Ah,
you can find us on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, as well as Instagram with your
do you think they have this technology, Instagram? Back?
Absolutely sure. We're
Okay.
figuring the movies from the 1920s up, the black and white films for Halloween month. With your host, komp. Today's film is
House on Haunted Hill, 1959.
House on Haunted Hill, 1959. Wow, so this is an older entry. A millionaire's offer. Oh boy, I gotta go to sleep. A millionaire offers $10,000 to 5 people who agreed to be locked in a large, spooky rented
Which at
house
that point
overnight
was
with
like
him
$100,000 probably.
and his wife. Directed by William Castle and Rosemary Horvath. Written by Rob White.
White.
Starring Vincent Price, Carol Oakmart, and Richard Long. I know why they call him Long. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so why'd you pick The House on Haunted Hill?
Because Vincent Price.
Yes. I think this is the first Vincent Price movie I've ever seen besides his cameo in Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, okay.
So why'd you pick this movie? Vincent Price, right?
Because Vincent Price. And, you know, it meets our
Ah.
criteria for October.
I actually saw the remake a long time ago. The House on Haunted Hill that
Is
was
it
done
terrible?
by Dark Castle. No, it was fucking fun, man. That's a fun, fun movie. That is a fun movie you see in the theaters. It doesn't give a shit. It's just fun. It's goofy.
Okay. Yeah, I
It's
kind of want to check
gory
it
as
out now.
fuck. I think it even has your boy in there from Reanimator. What's his name? Jeffrey Combs.
Oh,
As a
okay,
mad
cool.
doctor.
Oh, I'll definitely check it out. Then.
It's
You know what
super
I
gory.
thought of though with this. Speaking of Jeffrey Combs, Would You Rather is basically this movie.
I guess, yeah.
The premise of it, at least. I mean, it goes off on its own thing, but like it is very much inspired by this movie. Like,
Also, who was Captain Barbossa, the actor? Do you remember Captain Barbossa from the Pirates of the Caribbean films?
I never seen any of this.
Jeffrey, you know who Jeffrey Rush is? British actor. He's pretty famous.
I don't know.
He plays a version of Vincent Price in that film. It's a really good fucking movie. It's a very good
Okay,
movie.
I want
Anyway,
to check it out.
we got to talk about that movie soon. Anyway, and that movie has an awesome opening credits. Too bad about that company. Dark Castle was basically an offshoot, I think, of Universal Pictures, where they wanted to do remakes or just like they wanted to do a horror movie branch, just make
Right.
horror movies and put them out every year. And they did that one, which was fucking dope. It was great. It had a shitty sequel, which I never saw.
Mm-hmm.
And then they made something called, with Halle Berry, called Gothica. And
Oh,
that
I
was
remember
like a
that.
piece
I
of
saw that
shit.
in theaters.
I don't know if it was bad, but it just like
It was
that was it.
okay.
Like those two movies, and that was it. But that remake was fucking great. So it was fun to see this one. This movie has a meme image. As much as when we saw Possession. Remember how it had that image of her going crazy in the train station? Your favorite part of the movie?
Yeah, right.
The meme image from this is the skeleton pushing the woman to the acid bath. So that was
Okay.
like that happened in there. So anyway, which now that you think about it, is like totally unnecessary. For
I mean,
this
they
film.
even had they even in Would You Rather had like the drunk guy who was onto this game. Like they kind of had like a lot of stuff inspired in that movie. I never thought about it.
This
But
is an
that's cool.
interesting. This is an interesting film because we don't really cover films this old, like the 50s and way back.
I'm happy
except
we're
for
doing
this
it.
month. Oh yeah, me too. Because you wonder how what scared people in the 1950s besides
Yeah.
different ethnicities moving into their neighborhoods.
Yeah,
That was
or
the
like
real horror of them. They were
revoking
like-
Jim Crow laws.
Like to them, guess who's coming to dinner? They were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it! She's
It's a
dating
Jew!"
what?" Yeah. Anyway, but this one is like an actual, I guess, a spook fest movie, and William Castle. I've always known of William Castle. I don't know much about him, but I know that I think he's one of those sort of film guys that wanted to bring a bunch of sort of gags to their films, like shocking the seats and shit like that, scaring people.
Oh, okay.
He's sort
He
of one of
also
those
produced
guys.
Rosemary's Baby. Good for him.
Yeah, he's one of those directors and guys that really wanted people to enjoy the genre. Like he wanted to do something different with it, which is something we should do all the time. Like the last time anybody innovated cinema was fucking Jim Cameron with 3D for movies, and now that's basically every movie has 3D.
Yeah.
But it's not like a
I
4D
don't
experience.
I don't care about that.
Yeah, I don't care about 3D.
There's a movie called Matinee with John Goodman, and it was
based
like
on this, right?
yeah,
Based
it was
on
all
him.
about like the idea of like smell-o-vision and
Yeah,
like,
that was directed by Joe Dante, who did Gremlins.
yeah,
And
that
a
was
couple
a fun
of other
movie.
good movies. You know, it's funny. I have a friend who vehemently is disgusted with Joe Dante. He said everything
Why?
Joe Dante does now just sucks. And I'm like, okay. Like, I mean, all right.
What does he do now? I don't know.
Joe Dante, I don't know. I guess he just produces something. They're coming out with something new. Anyway, so this movie starts out. You can see this movie on YouTube if you want to.
Yeah, it doesn't have copyright on it anymore.
I can imagine how fun it must have been just seeing this shit in theaters. I guess back then in the 50s, while you know how everybody's try to act all uptight and like how their past was really nice and clean, and they were probably
They're smoking their pipes and shit.
yeah, they were
in the
probably,
theater.
but in real life, and these teenagers, not knowing what to do, they're just grabbing buttholes and stuff like that and putting their hands up tits and stuff like that. And they were like, "Wow, Sally, this is pretty swell." This movie, and meanwhile, his dick.
And then they see the skeleton part, and they just scream the way that woman did as the rope was going around her feet.
She was a good screamer.
She was.
So this film starts out
Why
with a
didn't
guy.
she just move her feet?
I don't know. I guess she was shocked. She was shocked
For
that,
like 10 seconds, though? Just move your feet.
Yeah, no, if I saw any of the shit, I would ran right through the fucking window. I would have got out of there. But this
Yeah.
film starts out with the interesting floating head of that guy, the drunk.
Yeah.
And he's like, the last time they found me, I was almost beaten to death. And then
I love
he walks
that guy.
back.
He's such a great face.
I wish there was more of him, actually. And then, yeah, 'cause that's the thing they really said about movies from back then is that people had very, like, interesting faces in movies back then. Like, if you look at all the actors back then, they had very interesting faces that people make caricatures. Now, you don't really have that. Like, everybody's super handsome now.
Yeah.
So everybody sort of blends into each other. Like, if you like Chris Hemsworth, Captain America, all those guys, they all sort of have the same look. They weren't sort of like, let's say, Gary Cooper or
This guy's like so cool looking. The Watson
Crosby.
Pritchard guy, like Alicia
and
Cook.
Ving and I was gonna say Ving Rhames. Ving Rhames. No, Vincent Price. I've never seen him, but he's like one of those cool. To me, like Vincent Price is one of those sort of British actors that he can do no wrong. You know, there's these British actors that just, like fucking Captain Picard. You know those kind of actors? Ian McKellen.
Well, Vincent Price isn't British. He's American.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's American.
right, but he's sort of one of those. He's like one of the. Well, I guess you caught me in that one, but he faked that sort of British accent. Wait a minute, hold on. Where are you
What?
saying he's not American?
I'm looking at it. He's American.
Wow, boy, am I
He was born
stupid.
in. You're not stupid. He was born in Missouri. A lot of British actors do American accents, so it's hard
Yeah,
to
you're
know.
right. He was born in Missouri.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm stupid.
St. Louis. It doesn't matter. In
Um,
any case, I mean, he's got that same train of good acting that the British actors
He's got that
have.
fantastic fucking delivery. And of course, there was all those rumors that he was gay, even though he was married and he had a daughter and stuff.
Well, his
like
daughter said he was.
That. Oh, okay. So there you go. I mean, he was.
But
cool.
she thinks he was, but like, I mean, I think she's bi, so maybe it's wishful thinking. I don't know. Who knows?
He's got such a great fucking voice too. He's just
Yeah,
that
he
great
doesn't he have
delivery.
like a very Gene Wilder sort of thing to him?
like
Also,
a very soft, like a fucking, like I can't say like a caramel. Like
he's
a
good at
sweet,
being like
sweet
a
voice.
crazy guy, like a creepy crazy
He's
guy.
great. So this movie, I had seen the remake, so I basically knew the gist of what was going to happen in this film, and it was so funny to see how they did it in this one. Because in this one, there's only like 2 bodies. There's like 7 or 8 people that get killed in the other one.
Yeah.
And there's actual supernatural shit that happens in the other one, like real
there's-
like scary shit in it.
There's
But in
a
this
little
one,
bit of
what's the
supernatural
supernatural
in
stuff
this.
that happens here?
I mean, well,
Nothing.
I guess
Nothing's-
the physics of it is definitely not possible. They can't have a rope fly through a window and wrap around your feet. Like, how would
that
she
was
do
a little
that?
strange. Like that was a little. That didn't
How
make
could she
any sense
honestly do
because-
that? Think about it.
Because let's see, in the remake, the Vincent Price character is a guy who he owns a bunch of theme parks. So
Yeah.
he knows about dark rides, and he's able to make weird shit happen in places. So in that version of the movie, I'm not gonna spoil it for you because it does go through different ways, but you'll enjoy it. In that one,
Yeah.
he fucks around with the interior of the house so that weird shit is happening, and there's like a guy hidden in the room pulling the levers.
Right.
But there's one scene where he goes to the room, and he's like, hey. He's like, this is a little bit too far because I guess something happens. He turns the guy in the chair around, his face is missing. So it's actually is haunted because in what's different in this one, in the remake, the house used to be an insane asylum, and there's like a fucking super graphic insane asylum mental ward breakdown and people are getting
Okay.
savaged and shit. That's not happening in this one. This is just like a
Yeah,
regular
this is
haunted
like
house.
this is like a crime thriller in the end. Like
Yeah, the guy who owns the house is a drunkard, but he rents it out to Vincent Price's character.
Well, okay. What about the heads though? Like, I mean,
The doctor and the girlfriend are doing that.
they're just so there really is zero.
Yeah, I don't know why
paranormal?
they made a head that looks like the blind woman that walks around like a phantom in the house. There's a lot of logistical concerns.
That was
with this
scary.
movie.
Yo, that scene with the
that
caretaker.
did get me. I was like, whoa.
That was
When I saw
actually
part,
like, oh my god, that's like a scary fucking
people
woman.
probably shit their plaid pants back then. Oh,
Honestly,
did you
it
see that,
was
Myrtle?
like it was actually like a little scary. They had the spats on their shoes to collect the diarrhea splatters.
I don't know why why the blind lady walks like that though, with her hands up like a witch though. This doesn't make any
She
sense.
does no. They told her to do that. I'm sure that was part of the scam. But
No, but whose scam was it? Like,
it was
wife?
both of their scam. The wife was trying to scam the husband, and
wait,
then
so
he
you
scammed
think
her.
she was telling the hired help to do that?
Yeah, maybe.
Speaking
I
of
don't
that
know.
wife, oof, was it Carol Omar?
She looked
My,
like
my, my, what a-
Lindsay
what a-
Bluth. She looked like Lindsay Bluth to me.
What a fucking fox! Oof,
Yeah.
she was hot for the 1950s. Oh man!
I think the women from back then are like hotter than the women now. Honestly.
Notice that they're all white. I wonder what Danny means by this. Anyway,
I was talking only about Bollywood. Actually,
Vincent Price is having a little disagreement with his wife, so he invites 5 people that she does not know to this house. The reason why, I don't know. It's not really explained why he invites them. He offers them $10,000 to stay the night, and if they survive,
well, she wants the
she
party.
invents the party. but
So
then
he
ended up
wants to
inviting all these
invite people who need money.
because she has been trying to poison him, but then she's saying that he's been trying to kill her because he's had 3 wives previous. 2 of them in their 20s have died of heart attacks, and one of them is just plain vanished. So Vincent Price, I don't know if he's necessarily a clean cut guy himself, but he's very
He's
jealous.
not a clean cut guy.
So you think he killed his old wives?
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah. So
He's a scumbag rich guy
that's true.
in this, and she's even scummier, but he is smarter than her and double crosses her double cross.
And so we do find out later on that the wife is in cahoots with this doctor. That was a nice little spin, right? Did you see that coming at all?
I didn't see that coming. I've never seen this, so it was exciting.
So well, anyway, these 5 people. The thing is, there's not enough going around the house. Like, there's not enough exploring the house to have spooky shit happen. Sort of, we're following that one main girl, the girl with the black hair, and she's getting scared. Obviously, seeing shit that would frighten me out of my mind. I would get out of there. I wouldn't. Be
Okay, like the rope
like,
coming through the window.
Is that she sees a head in a fucking box, and she doesn't remember that until later. She sees something else that scares her. I'd be like, holy shit, there's a fucking head in here. That's the first thing I would yell.
Yeah, but now
she waits until-
how is that part of the scam though? A fucking head? Is it a fake head?
The boyfriend, the doctor who's with the wife,
Mm-hmm.
they were trying to make that woman go so crazy, even though they didn't.
No, I know
invited.
that, but how did they get the head?
One of them disappeared and took it. The wife who was playing dead took the head. That's what she did.
What I'm
essentially.
saying
That's
is,
what she
where did they get the head in the first place? Did they go to the
It's obviously
cemetery?
I think it's a phony head. It's like a.
Oh, it's a
plastic
phony
that
head.
they just
Okay,
had.
okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because doesn't the doctor pick it
Didn't
up?
the guy
earlier?
though confirm that it was? Didn't the guy that owns the house confirm that it was his like dead sister or something? Or am I wrong?
No, I don't think that's what happened. I think he just heard about it and said that was it.
Okay.
Because I know either the doctor. There's 2 guys look exactly the same. If you're just thinking about it, they don't really look the same. But the sort of good-looking guy who's around there who's trying to be
Lance.
he's
I
like
think.
convincing. Wow, Lance is
The
such
pilot.
a fucking 50s name. He's
I think
like
it's Lance.
he's like convincing the girl to stay for $10,000, and she's having a nervous panic attack. I would be like, he doesn't know her. He just must have wanted that fucking pussy because he's like, don't worry, the $10,000.
She was pretty damn hot, though. You got to admit.
She was cute, but I mean, like, if I'd be like, "Fuck this shit," I would have been out of there. Like, okay, whatever, you win $10,000.
They couldn't get out anyway. It was locked.
There was weird shit though because they were obviously trying to drive that lady insane, but they did explain that they had a harness on her to make her look like she's floating outside the window. I think that's a little bit too fucking extreme to hang yourself out of a window to look like a ghost.
Well, the hanging part was fine, but
would you risk yourself hanging out of a window to scare somebody?
to get
They could have just
millions
put
of dollars.
They could have put a fucking bed sheet on a broom and floated that shit around. And
Yeah.
then she's like, that rope effect where the rope went around her legs. How are they able to do that shit? That's crazy. And then like,
Well, that's what the reason I
obviously
thought
some
maybe
movies-
they're what
the even more perplexing part is with fucking Vincent Price using a skeleton with strings on it. You
Yeah.
tell me those strings wouldn't melt in acid? Are you kidding me?
Maybe the
He's walking
strings were
around. He's
made
like
out
a
of.
fucking organ grinder.
It only eats. It doesn't eat bone. It only eats flesh, which isn't true. If the
Okay,
ass
that's
is
fine,
eating,
but listen,
if
it
the
has
ass is
little-
eating the flesh, it's gonna eat the bone too. But
I
it
know,
would,
but it
maybe
has
it doesn't eat
strings
metal.
on it. The
Maybe the
strings would
strings are
melt it
metal.
off.
Maybe they're like piano metal, and it doesn't. Maybe they are made out of a base like vinegar.
But that was funny when they knocked him out and they were about to throw Vincent Price inside that acid.
Yeah.
And then you hear like the lights go out and you hear go, ooh, it's like the guy vomited or something and he just threw him right into the fucking acid and killed him. What I don't
Yeah.
understand is why even do the whole effect of the skeleton? Like all he has to do
Oh,
is go.
she died when she was 36. The woman having the nervous breakdown. That's so sad.
Oh really? Oh, what the
Self-inflicted gunshot wound.
fuck?
Oh,
Oh
no.
my god, that's depressing.
Maybe this movie drove her to hysteria. This
That's very
isn't funny
sad.
at all.
The
This
fact that you're
sucks.
joking about that is disgusting.
I'm not joking at all.
But why would Vincent Price need to animate a skeleton to push a lady? I guess he wanted her to have the most terror in her life to get killed. 'Cause, I mean, doesn't he seem like
don't know.
obviously it seems like he put the skeleton on for the audience in the theater because
Yeah,
there's no
basically.
reason to make that a fucking skeleton attack a woman. Plus, it was very funny because when you look at a skeleton walking, like you and I walk, we just walk regularly. Like a skeleton has to walk really strange because it's being puppeteered. So,
Right.
I would
You know-
look at
and
it
you
and
know
go,
what
"Why is
was
that skeleton
true?
walking like he had a dick up his ass?"
I bet that fucking he doesn't even have an ass. I bet that skeleton was probably a real skeleton because back in the day they used to get
That's true, yeah.
fucking real skeletons and shit like for for science and everything. I bet it was real.
I you know what? I liked it for what it was. It was like a wacky '50s movie, and the fact that they hid a crime thriller under the guise of horror.
Yeah.
They had some interesting stuff. Like I was trying to put myself in the mindset of the 1950s. Just watching this movie on a night out. With your favorite gal in her.
And you're at a drive-in movie on top of Makeout Mountain.
Yeah, and then you get into fights with biker gangs and shit, and then the blob
Right.
attacks.
And then there's the greaser guys come and they try to bully you.
Yeah, you give him one punch and then the whole gang backs off because you beat
Yeah.
one guy. I don't know what the.
And you hold
50s
your
were like.
fists out in front of you like a boxer, like when you punch them, and you
which are like the bottoms of your elbows, like measured to your top of your chest.
right,
Sort of
and
that kind of fighting style.
right, and then you go to the diner to get some bubblegum chew, and you drink a Coca-Cola shake,
A pop, yeah.
a
that's-
pop shake, yeah,
That's one of those things when like you have an argument with somebody, they always say "Hey,"
right.
because they always be like, he goes, "I don't like your style." Hey, now, what's
And-
that about? They talk like that back then. In 1950s.
And then you play some Beach Boys in the jukebox for 10 cents.
Oh, I guess it is the Beach Boys. Hey, the Beach Boys had some pretty good songs.
Were the Beach Boys out back then?
Yeah.
I mean, no, the
They
Beach
were
Boys are actually
essentially-
fucking awesome.
The Beach Boys are essentially the American Beatles. Like the Beatles were actually talking to the Beach Boys, saying, "Wow, thank you."
Well, they were
really
in like a
inspired
kind
us."
of competition, but the Beatles wins. But the Beach Boys were still pretty fucking awesome.
No, like literally, they were the American Beatles. They were essentially the actual American version of the Beatles. That's how popular they were. Too bad,
Yeah.
like one of them. I think one of the singers was mentally insane or something like that, though. Like
Brian
they had to,
Wilson.
like, break up the band. Yeah, is that him? Brian
No,
Wilson.
Brian Wilson was like in charge of everything. He's like the composer. He really was like the whole brains of the operation.
Yeah.
And then didn't Uncle Jesse play with them in
He
Full House?
did. If you ever see the video for Kokomo, that's a fucking great
Yo,
song.
I gotta say though, Uncle Jesse is a super talented drummer. I saw
really
him play
is.
live. Yeah.
He actually is. You'd think he wouldn't be because he's like a good-looking guy, but
No,
then,
no,
like,
he
this
is
motherfucker
good.
has
He's
to do
talented,
this
man.
too, huh?
I also peed next to him in a urinal, and he smiled at me. I'm not making it up.
Is he looking at your penis?
No. We just like it was an awkward, funny thing. Like
Wait, what was Uncle Jesse's catchphrase? Oh fuck, because he would have said it right next to you, then that would have been like code for some gay sex for him.
I don't know.
Oh nuts!
I'm trying to look it up. Catchphrase.
Look up Uncle Jesse catchphrase. I know. He had a catchphrase.
Have mercy.
Yeah, that's what he said. He would have went, "Have mercy," and then grabbed your nuts, and then you would have went, "How rude!" And what did the little kid say?
That is what you said. How rude.
No, the little one.
Oh,
You're in
oh.
big trouble, mister. Like, she would walk in and say that. And then
You'd hear the audience go, "Aww."
no, and then you see who the hell was the blonde guy? Dave Coulier. He come over
Oh,
like
Joey, Uncle Joey.
You see him molesting, and he goes, "Cut it out!" And he does the finger. All right,
I
very
realize
good. What are
we
talking
haven't talked about this movie.
So what did you? I mean, what can we really talk about this movie? The remake, I'm sure we could talk for hours about that one. But
No, it's a great movie, and you know what I
did
love
like
about it?
this
It's
movie? What did you
first
like
of
and what
all,
did you dislike?
one of the things I like about it, and I know this is silly, but it's only 75 minutes. That's great.
That's good stuff.
I like short movies that just like do it and they get to the point and it's good and that's it. Like, yeah, because
I like the crime aspect.
All these new movies are like 2.5 hours. It's like exhausting. Like,
Yeah, having seen the original one, I sort of knew where the storyline was gonna go, and I was glad with they did with it what they did, because like it had a nice little twist to it, and it's always fun to see a horror movie that has like a little twist to it, even though I knew the twist was coming. But I wish that there was more exploration of the house, and I wish that there was more interactions with the other characters, seeing ghosts and shit, because it was sort of just
they kind of only
lady
focused on Lance the pilot and like
and the girl.
like they really that old lady, the one that wanted to drink, like they
Nora.
barely did anything with her.
Yeah, all she did was drink, and that's it. I think they dropped blood on her hand like a couple times.
Yeah, they showed blood come on her from
because
like
they did some big red hair, and goes, "That means you've been marked." And then like that's it, nothing happened to her. Like she survived. Everybody else survived except for the two assholes in the movie.
Yeah, maybe they could have made it a little longer and like
They
added
should've
more.
just
But
done stuff like that. But I mean, whatever. They survived. It was nice. Nobody died. Didn't need to die, I guess, in the film. I liked it. I give it a 7 out of 10. Being a lousy drunk and renting your house out to weirdos and deciding you need more money to get drunk again. So you do it. You risk your night to get drunk.
yeah,
Although-
and he almost died the first time he said. Apparently,
That's true.
I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. Hanging outside of a window from a hanging harness and having some kind of magical rope that can rope itself into a window like a snake, wrap around a woman's foot, who then just stands there screaming hysterically for like 20 seconds and not just simply stepping out of the rope.
With that, Danny, what's the final word?
Bumbledore.